Hi, I am going to tell you how I work on some of my hair, my processing of the raw mohair. I'm first going to cover a couple of my fingers with some finger cuts so that I don't rip my cuticles up because of the rubber bands. So I cover up my 3 working fingers. Just got a ponytail inside of that one. So that I can work with the hair without ripping my fingers up from the ponies. So this is a bag of raw hair that I have. This is what it comes looking like as it comes off the goat. You still have all the barnyard debris, and our job is to go from this to make it look pretty. So I'm going to separate this into different little clumps. You can tell the cut end from the not cut end because the cut end is actually cleaner than the not cut end, and it's got the rough cuts. So I'm going to pinch the little bundle, and then I'm going to wrap this around the tip of it until it is tight. I do not want this hair falling apart or separating. I have to have the cut ends always on the right side of the hair so that I can make sure that the hair is rooted in the same direction. So this hair, even though it's all curled up right now, it'll grow a little bit as it gets clean and relaxes and all the yucky stink stuff gets out of it. So I'm going to stick it in the bucket, and I will probably do 5 or 6 times this wad in one go, and that'll turn into a couple of ounces of hair. So I'm going to separate as much as I can the little hangers so that I can keep them all in the same direction. Sometimes there are cut little tiny pieces that you do not want just floating around because they'll just fall apart and get stuck in your sink, and that's just not good. If I did not wear the finger condom things, then my cuticles would be ripped to shreds by doing this. And it might be different on somebody else, but my skin is kind of a weenie. Okay, so you see that this has a couple of cuts in it. I don't want to catch these cuts in it, so I'm going to set them aside so I don't catch them. And I don't want to have something cut here and something cut here. So I'm going to pull these 2 pieces apart and realign the tops of them so that they're in the same spot. And mohair comes in lots of different colors. I have like 5 or 6 different colors. This is going to be a platinum blonde color when it's done, but I also have a light blonde natural color. I have a reddish color. I have gray. I have it's a light gray, and then I have a dark gray, and then I have a black. So I use those ones. I don't really like to dye hair if I don't have to, because it's always better if it starts the same color. So the dark hair and the gray hair are great for like a werewolves, where they have like the natural grayish tones. So I'll be processing some of that so that I can sell it as natural undyed hair in those natural wolfy colors. This blonde stuff, I use it completely natural color on some dolls, and I also dye it with special acid dyes for other colors. So I'll do a bunch of this, and then I'll come back in another segment and show you the next step. Okay, step 2 is I'm taking all my little bundles. These have all been tightly wound, and this is what I'm going to process for this next batch. I'm going to soak the stink out of it, and by doing that, I'm going to remove a lot of the yuck. So nice hot water and Dawn dish soap that helps remove all the greasy bits. just going to manipulate it a little bit. This part kind of goes fast, so I'm not going to have to stop the video for multiple sessions. So we're just going to kind of try to keep the hair nice and flat in one row so it doesn't mangle and tangle. And stretch it back out. All that darn water. Round 2. It has a really nasty smell. It smells like dirty underwear, barnyard, piggy, goaty, yuck. Not my favorite smell. You can already see how much cleaner it's coming. It's pretty amazing. Okay, not much more is coming out of this, so I'm going to leave these soaking and find my comb, which has disappeared. There's a comb, it's not the good one. Is it in that tub right beside you? Alright, so stare at that for a second while I find my cotton picking comb. So much for being prepared.
Found it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's with the other hair.
Okay. Alright, so I use this particular kind of comb because it has the rough side and the fine side. And this first part, we're going to use the rough side. So now that we have our hair semi stink free, by stink free meaning it's not as nar as it was 2 minutes ago, we're going to leave this soaking. And then I have some high quality conditioner or shampoo. So one clump at a time, I'm going to squirt a little bit of shampoo on this, and I'm going to use the fine or the thick part of my comb to work through the hair. And this will help remove the barnyard debris, plus any loose hairs will end up on my comb. Just got to be careful that you're not like really pulling it. You don't want it pulled out of the pony holder. So gently work your way down. This is already so much cleaner, it's crazy. And it doesn't have to be completely perfectly tangle free because the next step with the conditioner will help actually do that as well. This is the longest step, getting all the debris out. I want to get it clean all the way up to the edge of the pony holder so that I can use as much hair on this strand as I can. Okay, my extra fluff and tingly bits go there, and then I will stack that in the sink and just let it sit there and work through this whole sink full of hair. One bundle at a time, one squirt of shampoo at a time, and carefully getting all this yuck out. I'm going to fast forward this so you can see the next step too without having to wait for me to finish the entire sink full of yucky. So as soon as this piece is done, we'll move on to the conditioning of these two pieces, and you can see how that one goes as well. Now we're going to start the next part. I'm going to rinse out the shampoo, keeping my hair nice and tidy. There's a couple little dirty bits of hair, or the hay looks like in here, so I'm going to try to get those out using the fine part. I'm not too worried about it, because for some reason when I put the conditioner in, it helps with that. So I'm going to set that one aside and rinse out this first piece. And this one's a little cleaner. Okay, so I'm going to wring out the extra, put a little squirt of conditioner on it and work it through the hair. Nice and smooth and shiny. And then I'm going to comb the conditioner through the hair, starting at the bottom and working my way to the top, making sure that there's no tangles all the way through. Okay, so this little piece of hair is all done. And get rid of the extra boogers off that comb. Rinse this out, and while it's under the water, I'm going to run the comb through it just to make sure it's tangle free. So now it's like silk, it's just gorgeous. Bring out the extra, and then I'll let it dry on a towel before I move on to the processing part.